We're moving on now, still in the oil and gas industry. Now, oil and gas marketers under the aegis of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria have commenced the compilation of losses incurred by filling stations as a result of the purchase of bad fuel imported into the country in January, and shall be demanding compensation from the federal government. IPMAN's National Secretary explains that the contaminated petroleum products, popularly called petrol, has stopped the operations of many filling stations, a development that contributed to the lingering fuel scarcity, describing losses incurred due to the purchase of the methanol blended fuel as terrible. He maintained that IPMAN is making a serious arrangement, collating all marketers across the country who suffered the great loss, adding that the persistent queues in some parts of the country will take time to address. Well, staying with this, despite Nigeria's National Petroleum Company Limited's promise of additional supply of fuel to the market, as in fuel scarcity or scarcity of the product still persists across the country, as many petrol stations remain shut, while those that open are selling the product above the official price. Amid the disruption in the distribution system, consumers are worried about the lack of monitoring and silence on the part of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Now, in checking the excesses of some of the marketers who have the products but are selling above pump price or are not even ready to sell at all. Although the NNPC was expected to truck out some products to most stations in the city center owned by Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, most depot owners, instead of supplying both the MOMAN and IPMAN members, now prefer selling the products at their stations in a bid to recover losses from bank loans and new challenges that include payment for products now by payment for products for products in dollars, which they claim they have to source at the black market. It will interest you to know that most part of the countries, including the FCT, black marketers are selling a liter of fuel for as much as 400 naira, just as long queues persist, as most spend relatively 5 hours or more to get the product. Well, let's get talking this Monday afternoon, and to give us insights into this and assess the updates of fuel scarcity across the country, I have the National Operations Controller of the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Mike Osatuyi. Good afternoon, Mr. Osatuyi. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to start with you this way. There's been a lot of assurances by the midstream agency. We've seen a lot of monitoring and going out by these agencies. Please, can you? Yeah. So now, what is happening? What is happening at the moment with issue of supply?
The truth of the matter is that as I'm talking to you, there's no much supply to IPMAN members and even to the system, right? And but as of today, I have confirmed that about 300 million liters are discharged right now in Lagos. Another 300 million liters also are about to discharge in the next 2, 3, 4 days. But that be as it be, if you look at what we consume, about 60 million liters per day, that one can only take us for about maximum of 10 days. So the government, through NNPC, they have to embark on massive importation of petrol, so as to be able to wet the system, so as to be able to remove the queue, so as to be able to reduce the wasted, the time we waste in stations, so as to reduce the tension. So they have to go to drawing board and do what is normal. Because since they have assumed the monopolistic power to be importing solely, then they have to live up to expectation of meeting the nation's demand without any story, without any excuse, without any blaming of anybody.
Now, IPMAN has a very important role to play when it comes to distribution. How has it been since the contaminated fuel thing came in? How has supply been afterwards? And how have you people been able to clean up and manage the situation for some of your members that are directly affected?
If we have good planning, about 4 vessels that have issues shouldn't be a problem for the country, right? Are we only talking of four vessels only? when we're supposed to have about 15, 20 vessels on the high sea. So if at all we are present with 4 vessels, then about 15 or 20 can take charge. But we in Ipman, we are not being given the product as it should be. And as we have said, that even that man and woman that they give some vessels to, they prefer to load it to their stations. They don't give it to us. So, and we don't give what they don't have. But, in fact, about 2 months ago, we were selling fuel, no issue. Even during the Christmas time, there wasn't any problem. So when we have enough. But now that that we enter the new year, and this crisis comes, the government, ministry, NPC, they need to sit down and resolve this issue. It has been lingering for so long, and the issue of Russia, Soviet, Ukraine shouldn't be an excuse. But that one just came up about a week ago. So we have had the problem before the Ukraine and Russia crisis. So they need to do what is normal and what is bad in government authorities, agencies, NPC, calling stakeholder meeting so that we can be able to jointly resolve the issue. But I'm quite aware that the subsidy, the outpace is so enormous that is eating deep into the funds of NPC, is eating deep into the crude income, and it's affecting FAC. At 25th of February, Pratt goes for about $918 per metric tons. And if you trickle it down through the PPRA template, pump price is around 450 naira as of today. If we are going to buy, if we are going to buy at 575 naira to $1, and you buy on a spot, because something spot purchase, it means see and buy, right? As that we go to market, we just buy and discharge, right? No question of ordering from Germany or from no, but see and buy is going to land at 446 naira per liter, and if you convert it to 60 million consumption per day, we are paying about 17 billion subsidy per day. And if you try to extrapolate it to a month, that's about 505 billion subsidy per day. That is truth. And if you take it to 12 months, it's 6 trillion. 6 trillion? Yes. No, they have done 3 trillion, but that's part one. That's part one. That's part. That was when that was.
I think we're still going to talk very much about subsidy, because I like the angle that you are taking us to now, very practical, looking at the figures in total. But I want to also ask that some of the depots that maybe NNPC is supplying, you are the players in the sector. Some of them are also selling. Are they selling? What's the issue of selling above X depot price, pump price? Is it because the landing, what is costing? Because some people are getting this product, they will sell, they say it's 200 naira, it's 250 naira, no queues there. But when you want to get 165 naira, then you see the queues could be as long as here to anywhere.
When there's, when we have disruption in this chain, then there's going to be crisis. There's going to be exploitation. There's going to be sharp practices. There's going to be, and even let me tell you, the gap between the pump price of 165 and 44 something you can sell in Cameroon or something is alarming. That's about 200. In fact, the subsidy about 281 naira subsidy per liter, and it's tempting.
It is.
But we have to be
without stress. You don't have
to. In the day, 540 is the price. In Cameroon, it's about 430. That's what I'm talking about. So the best thing is to deregulate. But governments have said it. For the next 18 months, no deregulation. Yes. Fine, no problem. But can we absorb it? Can we absorb 6 trillion subsidy per year? And when we are financing our budget about 3.6 trillion per year, that's about taking us to 10 trillion wastage. But at the same time, can Nigeria afford fuel at 450 naira per liter without problem? No. So so government has to look at way of alleviating and substituting this this petrol, so that we can have good life for Nigerians, because things are hard, we all know.
Things are really hard.
Things are very hard. So if you don't subsidize again, there's a problem. But the best thing is to deregulate so that there can be more competition, there can be more fairness, there will be no corruption.
Things are really hard.
There will be efficiency, right? And everybody we have options, and the price will be driving down when we deregulate. But I mean, government knows the best, but I don't know how government want to finance 500 billion per month.
So now you're sure of 300 million liters on ground?
Yes.
Another 300 million liters?
Yes.
And if we look at our consumption...
Yeah. That about 10 days stock.
So, and smuggling comes in here now. Where we talk about being very attractive. But many will say that you can't smuggle petroleum products without involving some. It's like a chain too. It's like a supply chain. The security agencies and all of that. What is being done also to check smuggling? Is the NPC talking to the likes of Apeman and Moman to help in this fight, so that we limit the level? Yes, we might not be able to eradicate it 100%, but can we just limit it so that we know what we consume realistically?
When the people in authority and NPC and everything that they can do it alone, it's not possible. Because as you have said it's a chain.
It's a chain.
It's a chain reaction. Why, if, you know, they say if man smuggles, man smuggles, are we the one driving the truck? So, I mean, we have to call the picture of the stakeholders and let us face the facts. And say, okay, where do you come in? Where do you come in? What do you? And then we now agree that this is a sabotage to the country. If it's like this. I've even factored the smuggling to 60 million I'm talking about.
Yes.
I factor it in. But is what actually we are consuming that stay within the country is what we're supposed to be paying subsidy on. But we are financing our neighboring countries.
Yes.
In terms of paying subsidy for what we don't consume.
And we are bleeding behind.
And we are bleeding. So I mean, don't be surprised by July. By July, you see, you see people in the NPC taking another 3 trillion to assembly for approval. If the crude price continues like this, you know, as of today, crude price is $105 per barrel.
Yes.
105.
Yes.
And only God, let us pray that the water doesn't go further. It can reach 120, 130.
Let me further now. Let's now stay a little bit on deregulation, which is a position I know you've always talked about, and you're a player in this industry for years, so you can tell us better. Many will argue that kerosene has been deregulated. Diesel has also been deregulated. As at today, the price keeps fluctuating, and people are complaining. Some it's even out of reach. Some people cannot even buy, and that's why we're going for gas at the moment. Now, if PMS, maybe that's the fear. How do you think we can deregulate and the pain won't be as much as expected?
You know, the problem we have is decades of neglect from the government side of doing what's supposed to be done, like rail, like gas, and some other, and good roads. But when you have leakage, when you have corruption, there's no way you can progress. Let us look at other countries now, right? That we even have, we even got independent the same year. They have gone far. What's the magic? The cost of building a house, maybe it's about 100 million, you say it's 1 billion. They're supposed to build about 10. So how can you progress? I used to say something. If Nigeria is your company, you will run into make profit.
Yes.
If it's your personal property, yes, you will do what is right. Why is all these big companies making profit? So it's because of we're not patriotic, we're not doing things right. Right? And government, they have been talking about gas, about revolution. They should put in more effort because we have gas. We have 30% of the world gas.
We're not taking advantage of it.
And even Russia, we are talking about 25% of the world, gas reserve. And we are number 1 in Africa. So why can't we exploit what we have to make life comfortable, bearable for Nigerians? We are making things difficult for ourselves. Except of recent, when the government, the board of LNG and federal government mounted pressure on them that you must satisfy local markets before you export.
We can see a little bit of drop
we can see reduction from 8,500 to 7,000
now. Yes, 7,000
per 12 kg
yes,
now.
12 kg.
But why will you allow what you have been produced in your country to be exported? Then you will import it back, turning the vessel back, and you pay in dollars. So, but I think it's even war for them to agree to meet up the demand of the local market on gas before exporting. I know what is involved. I know who really fought, who must give their life for this. Because some people are benefiting from that system. It's not proper. So government have good intention, but some people are bringing it up. Some people are putting it down. But we should also, we're supposed to work in the same direction so that things can work for this Nigeria. We will come and go, but what of the future of our children? It's scaring. It's scaring.
Now, almost finally, there's fuel is selling for as much as 400 naira in some places now as we speak. And like we've talked about earlier, refining is also a major challenge. If we were refining in our country, maybe we would have not had this problem this bad. What's your take with regards to our refining, and what do you think can be done? Do you support this move by NNPC looking at Port Harcourt refinery? Some talk about Dangote refinery. What do you think about our refinery status?
There's nothing better than what you have for yourself. What you can really control what you have. It is better for us to have our own than to rely on Belgium, rely on Russia, where your eyes cannot even reach.
Yes, sir.
Right? If we have our own, what's the problem?
You will know when methanol is
right.
And when
those countries also, they build their own.
Yes.
Why can't we build our own?
Yes.
I was saying something that if they can build his own refinery as a businessman, why can't Nigeria as a country build one within 70 years? But politics, games, other things, right? But government should supply product to the system. Good. If you supply it, bring down the price. Nobody is saying holding fuel, because as a businessman, you get more money when you turn over your term.
Yes.
You go and load, discharge, sell, discharge, but there's no gain in keeping product under your tank. Like me, I've not sold products at a time for 10 days.
Wow.
It's the truth. And I have to cover my costs.
You pay salaries, you have to pay
salaries. So, but at the same time, the midstream, downstream should do their job. They should talk to the depot owners to sell to us at the right price. If it involves us going to go and revive or to go and revise the template, because I know that that month they are complaining that there's some addition in some code that is not in the template. Yeah. What's bad in reviewing a template? So that you can know where we are. I don't know, right? Because they have to add also price to the template because they are incurring extra costs. If they put the cost on the table, and we all know that this is the cost. If it's 148.17, they ask them to be selling. If the cost goes to 160, we agree that it's 160. Then we do markup, so the whole Nigeria will know that this is the price.
Yes.
So not that somebody will be encouraging us, and you'll be forcing him that he has to sell at a price. It's not possible. Like with my member, we buy 182. Yes. Buy 82, by the time I had my 10-hour cost, it's come to 190. 190. And 190 plus S. That S is my profit. And S can be any figure. Yes, that's the truth. Because we are in an unusual period. There's breakdown of system.
So what's your message to Nigerians? Because a lot has been said here today. It's good to have Mr. Michael Satuyi. Please tell us, what's your message to Nigerians at the moment?
Nigerians should just bear with the government. Yeah, we can pray, but we need to work.
Yes.
Not praying. Work. Work from government side. Let them do their role. Let them give us the product we are ready to sell. But we don't have problem for some years.
Yes. And that's even something. This administration has been
thing was going.
For more than 6,
it was
7
going.
years.
There was a smooth.
Yes.
So why disruption? There's something is wrong somewhere.
Yeah, something is wrong somewhere. True.
Not the question that they just set up. I mean, something is wrong somewhere. And when you have a monopolistic system, then they can cage you.
Yes. Yes.
They can lose control. But if you have about 2, 3, 4, 5 options, people are if you bring in bad fuel, the other people who have good fuel can mitigate the gap.
Yes.
And we are good to go.
Yes. Yes. Great stuff. They have been speaking to the National Operations Controller of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria in the person of Mr. Mike Osatuyide, giving us the facts of issues around distribution, of course, allocation of PMS from depots to retail outlets and what's been playing out all the while. Thank you so much for spending your Monday afternoon with us. We really appreciate you on the show.
It's nice having you.